Good afternoon, everyone. I'm going to have you remain in your seats. You may continue to eat, but we are going to start a video about a project that our club was involved with down in Honduras, and there'll be more information about it a little later in the meeting. But want you to see what Rotary, our club, has done prior to that award of a grant, and now we're competing with something, I think, on our video here. But do I have to tell jokes? What is it? I don't know any jokes. Or we can listen to the music, yes. Oh, We Are Family, I think that song is. Which we are. We are a family of Rotary. And we're a family of Kupps today, right? Yeah, coming up. So I think we're on our way. Hope you enjoy this. Absolutely applaud for our Yakima Rotary Club in conjunction with a local Honduran club. And that, Ken Smith helped me out with this. How many years ago did this take place? Was this project? About 6? 5, 6 years? How many in this room were a part of that project? Okay, 1, 2, 3. Because I saw Rod and his wife, Pat Nipper. I saw Ken, of course, Jim DeGrasse, Dwayne Monick, Brad Kessinger, and looked like a couple more that raised their hands who I didn't see. But thank you for participating in that, and it certainly makes me proud as a Rotarian to see what we have done down there. And there'll be more about that coming up in our meeting. So today our greeter, I guess we had greeters, actually, Jennifer Ernst. New member. She's with college administration as her classification, so hopefully you shook her hand. And somebody pinch hit. I think it was Randy Beeler. So, Randy, wherever you are, thank you for stepping in. Music today, Eric Silvers. There's been a lot of planning for this. No. Everybody stand and join us. You can come over here. God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans, white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home. I think Eric cheated. You can remain standing. I think we're going to have Mike Johnson come up for an invocation. But I think Eric must have practiced you because it really sounded good.
I am not back by popular demand from last week. It's last week I pinch hitted for somebody else, and so I was. This was supposed to be the week. If you feel so led, would you join me in today's invocation? God, we are struck by this statement of little hands and big hearts. And we often feel little in a very big world, wars and places and famines and disease. And we would like to believe that our hearts are big. They feel big sometimes, at least. But God, we know that it's your desire, however big our hearts are, to keep stretching them, that they might be bigger still. God, thank you that you believe in us, that you don't suffer from the disability of looking at us and being unable to see more. That you've given us to each other to stretch our hearts. You've given us to each other that we might live into the four-way test, that through our relationships with each other, through struggling and working together in this club, we might understand more closely what is the truth, what is fair to all concerned. That through the struggle and the beautiful process of humility and vulnerability that builds goodwill and better friendships, that we might actually do things that are beneficial to our community. God, thank you that you would give us to each other, to stretch our hearts, to grow our hearts, that together our hands, though they may be individually small, can make an impact that will leave a legacy. Thank you for Rotary. Amen.
Thank you, Mike. So I am going to give our guests an opportunity to stand up so that we can recognize them and acknowledge their presence and thank them for being here. So any guests today, please stand. That. I see some familiar faces out there, too. Thank you. All right, tomorrow is Rotary Ski Day. And right now, I believe, according to the White Pass forecast, it should be snowing with a high about 29, I think pretty close to 29 degrees. Also tomorrow, the high, maybe 29 degrees. And expect snowfall from about 10 to 2. So should be some fresh snow up there, cold snow, and it should be a great time. The forecast for Bronyer is also excellent. Great company and tasty pizza regardless of the weather. Leanne Antonio, a member since 2008, in charge of our local savings and loan company. She's the chair of our allocation and review committee, and she has some grant check presentations to make.
Okay, and Noelle Moxley is joining me here today on behalf of the Literacy Committee, because we have one recipient who's getting 2 checks today. So the role of the Allocations and Review Committee is to review grant requests that are received by Yakima Rotary, and then to make recommendations to the Yakima Rotary Club Board for awards. So it's my pleasure today to award checks to 3 grant recipients. The first 2 requests were supported by our Club World Community Service Committee. So the first one's going to Little Hands, Big Hearts, $3,500 grant award to repair hurricane damage and build a roof over the Rotary Outdoor Therapy Center in Trujillo, Honduras. The Rotary, yeah, I think you saw The Rotary Therapy Center is a therapeutic playground specifically for the children with disabilities that are served through Little Hands, Big Hearts School. The roof will provide much-needed protection for the wood structure and therapy equipment from heavy rainfall. So Yakima Rotarian Ken Smith is accepting the award today on behalf of Little Hands, Big Hearts.
Thank you very much.
Okay, the next grant is going to Imagine Scholar. This is a $5,000 grant award towards a capital campaign that they are raising funds to build a learning center building on their campus in South Africa. Imagine Scholar equips young leaders with opportunities to grow themselves and return to their communities to make an impact and further expand the mission of the organization. Imagine Scholar is founded on the belief that there is an equal distribution of raw talent around the world. Their mission is to find and cultivate a network of extraordinary young people and help them become leaders who positively impact their communities, companies, and the country. And Yakima Rotarian Jim Fitch is accepting the grant award on behalf of Imagine Scholar. Okay, last but not least, United Way of Central Washington. So United Way is receiving a $4,000 grant to support startup funding for Imagination Library to improve kindergarten readiness in Yakima County. This is being combined with $2,000 from the Literacy Committee for a total award of $6,000. United Way of Central Washington gathers people together, ideas and resources to strengthen communities and improve lives. Imagination Library provides a free, age-appropriate book each month to children ages 0 to 5 years old to help children become kindergarten ready during their early learning years. Communities across the nation with an active Imagination Library program have seen increases in kindergarten readiness indicators after the program launch. The United Way 5-year goal is to reach 60% of enrollment of eligible children in Yakima County, which would equal 11,740 children. So Yakima Rotarian and Executive Director of the United Way of Central Washington, Kayleen Stiles, is accepting the grant award today. And then I just want to say, if club members want to learn more about Imagination Library, how you can individually support kindergarten readiness through the program, Kayleen will be available following the meeting today.
Well, it's a great day when we can hand out grants to local and international communities, so proud of our club for that. Let's see. Next up, we have a member since 2008, a past president, year 1993-94. He's a second-generation Rotarian. He was also the recipient of the Bud Applegate Paul Harris Fellowship Award. He's a good friend of mine, a neighbor, a classmate, and he is here to talk about Jobs for Youth program because he has a great story, a great testimonial to share with us. Ken?
Well, thank you, Rick. You know, as I walked in, I saw the sign out front that said Rotary at Work, and that's what I'm here to talk about is work. So very appropriate. Rick asked me to share a story about my experience with Jobs for Kids. This program got started, there was a group of us that got together back in 2006 and formed an organization called Safe Yakima. And one of the people involved in that was Esther Huey. Is Esther here today? Esther's a Rotarian, and Esther had this audacious vision of 100 jobs every year for 100 kids. And we've been doing that with the help of Rotary. We partnered with Rotary back then, and with the help of Rotary, we've been doing that every year for, I guess it's like 17, 18, this will be the 18th year. Adrian Garner is now heading up that program and has done a wonderful job for so many years too. So if you look at over 17 years that we've already accomplished, we've had 1,700 young people in Yakima who for the first time learned how to dress for a job, learned how to interview for a job, learned what's expected in behavior on a job, and learned what you have to do to hold a job. And so Rotary has been involved in making a difference in 1,700 kids' lives here in the Valley over that period of time. Well, let me tell you a little personal story about this at the individual level. I'm going to tell you about the experience we had with a young woman at Horizon Distribution. She came to work for us some 15 years ago. Her name was Adriana. She was hired when she was 15 years old. She was from Southeast Yakima. She would walk to school. She would walk to work. She attended Davis High School, and our job was her first real job. She was shy, she was timid, she was overwhelmed to be working in a busy office environment. But she did so well that her supervisor asked if she could continue on and work part-time during school. Well, she did not only that, she worked part-time for us for 4 years and full-time in the summer for the next 4 years. She was just one of those exceptional young ladies. So I've got a little video clip that Dana Donnell put together, a 30-second clip. She did this about 11 years ago to promote Yakima Rotary. And I would just, if we could show that clip. I joined Rotary to serve my community.
I didn't know if I was even going to go to college.
What a great network of people. I wanted to be part of 100 Jobs for 100 Kids.
I met 2 people who have become wonderful mentors.
I'm proud of Adriana.
I'm proud of myself. I'm confident and ready for college.
Thank you, Adriana.
Thanks, Ken.
Thank you, Rotary, for providing opportunities for service.
Thank you, Rotary. I want to give back someday, too.
Yakima Rotary. Discover the journey of giving.
So for the rest of the story, during her senior year of high school, I kept asking Adriana, I said, have you applied for college? Have you applied for college? Well, no, she kept putting it off. So finally, about this time in her senior year, I said, Adriana, come on, we're going to go over to YBC. And we went over, got her registered, got her enrolled. She wound up getting a 2-year degree in dental hygiene, worked in a dentist's office for several years, and then I found out she had enrolled at Central. I wanted to get a 4-year degree in nutrition, which she did, and accomplished that. So I wanted to get her today for this program, and I found out that she's living in Tri-Cities now, but we text back and forth yesterday, and I just want to read a text just to show you the impact that something like this can have on someone's life. Here's where she is today. She said, I moved to Tri-Cities to work as a dietitian at a community center, but recently left that employment to start working for the Office of Superintendent of Public Instruction. In my new role, I'm an administrative program specialist for farm to school and summer feeding. I've been traveling quite a bit with my husband for fun and work as well. Last summer we went to Italy and Croatia. In 2 months I'll be going to France and Spain. So here was a girl that was, hesitant to even walk across First Street, I think, to come to our office, and now has just blossomed into this great young lady. So, what can you do? What can we do? Yakima Rotary has been a great partner in this program. On your tables, there's a sign-up sheet. Coming up on March 27th, we have a job fair down at the Southeast Community Center. That is a fun deal. You can help the students by conducting mock interviews. That's one of the fun things. If you're an employer, you can have a booth there. See Adrienne, I'm sure she'd love to have you. And then you can also help by giving scholarship money for this program. We'll find a job for them in an agency if we can get some scholarship money, or if you're an employer, employ a student. And it's all the information's here on this sheet. So thank you for your help in the past, and we hope you'll continue to support this program.
This is getting to be a good Rotary feel-good day. I thank you, Ken. That was a great testimonial. As I was looking over the packet about participating in the Job for Youth Day, the March 27th, that's Monday. I thought, oh God, what would I do if I were to had to interview with a young person? But they have it. They got it. The questions are here. Kind of walks you right through it. So you don't even have to know what you're doing. They provide it for you, and you can feel confident in doing an interview and helping a young person get a job. So again, thank you, Ken. Sony Alexander, she's been a member since 2009. Classification is manufacturing accounting. I think I've said that before. I always wondered about manufacturing accounting. Did you make that up? Or no? Sorry. Sony, you are going to talk about our scholarship dinners.
Rotarians and guests, President Rick, welcome to the Kupps. I'm glad to have you here anytime. Wink, wink. I'm here to give you an update on the scholarship dinners that Dana Eliason and Ryan Anderson and I have been up here trying to sell you for the last few weeks. And I want to say thank you because you guys turned out. We have 27 dinners hosted by 56 people and 160 guests going to those dinners. So this is a great turnout. What I'm really up here to tell you is if you are a procrastinator and you wanted to sign up, there's still hope. We have space for one more family at the family-friendly dinner. We also have space for 2 more couples at the pickleball dinner. And that one sounds like a lot of fun to me. And the pickleball dinner's on April 28th. And then we have space for 1 more couple at a regular sit-down dinner. No kids. You don't have to bring kids. You don't have to have any athletic prowess. It's just dinner. So if you'd like to come to dinner on April 27th or play pickleball on April 28th or come to the family-friendly dinner, give us a call because there's a spot left for you. Bye. Thanks.
All right. Thank you, Sony. Great job. Is this the highest number we've had at this time for the event? So thank you, Rotary, for stepping up and taking advantage of this. It's, I guess you've prepaid it and or will be paying for it, so you might as well go and enjoy. So are there places to sign up for those spots, or should they just con the Rotary office? Okay, thanks. Ooh, now is the time for Sheriff at Arms. Bob Udell, member since 2019, and he is the real deal sheriff of Yakima. He also roasted me on my first meeting of Rotary, and I remember that now.
That may come back.
But it may come back, so I'm not going to say anything more other than Sheriff Udell.
Thanks, Rick. I did think about dusting that off and bringing it back, but no, we're not going to do that today. And hey, first of all, before I want to get going into my spill, I want to the 100 jobs for 100 kids is awesome. I've done that several times. As a matter of fact, I was so excited for it that I showed up this last Monday, a week early, and was told by Adrian that I had my wires crossed, which was something that usually happens. Okay, so here we go. Okay, Sergeant Oswald, remember that what we're doing is raising money for great causes today and testing your knowledge. So what are we going to test your knowledge on today? Here it comes, the tutor. Now, raise your hand if everyone here religiously reads the tutor. Oh, I'm going to make lots of money. Okay, here we go. So what we're going to do today is the tutor test. It has a ring to it, doesn't it? All right, and we're going to focus today on our two guests, Jake and his son Craig Kupp from NFL legacy stuff. We're going to learn more about them. But actually, if you've read the tutor, you already know what I'm going to say. So here we go. Sorry. What high school did Jake graduate from in 1959? Yakima High, Wapato, Sela, or Sunnyside? Okay, then. What's the guess? Shouldn't be a guess. You should know this. The answer is Sunnyside. If you didn't know that, pay $1. Now, anybody in here that graduated from Yakima High? Harry? No? If you graduated from Yakima High, please pay $1. There you go. Okay. Jake played football at this school for Coach Jim Owens. This might go back, about 20 years or so, Jake? I met Jake right before the presentation. UCLA, Arizona State University, Notre Dame, or University of Washington. Which one? University of Washington. There it is. Now, I know that Harry the Husky there in the front table is getting a little special tingle, right? Yeah, a little special. Well, let's get rid of that tingle. Go Cougs. All right, so if you're a Coug, pay $1 in pride. All right, here we go. Jake was drafted by the Dallas Cowboys in 1964. What was the name of the Cowboys coach? Now, if you're a football fan, this is a gimme. Don Shula, Chuck Noll, Bill Parcells, or Tom Landry? It's all right, I say. And there he is. As a matter of fact, that's my favorite picture, man. There you go. That's right. In 1970, Jake was the team captain and played in the Pro Bowl. He's also inducted into that team's Hall of Fame and was later named to the 50-year All-Team for that franchise. Here we go. Was it the Atlanta Falcons, the New Orleans Saints, the Dallas Cowboys, or Washington Redskins? The New Orleans Saints. There we go. He's a kind of a big deal there with the New Orleans Saints. All right, if you didn't know that, pay $1. There you go. Get that up there. That's right. Now, I know, I want to see more dollar bills flinging in the breeze. Okay. Jake had a part in the night of this one. You only know this probably if you've read The Tutor. He had a part in the 1969 movie starring Charlton Heston. 1969 movie, to avoid $1 fine, select the movie. Ben-Hur. I could see you probably in a chariot. Yeah. Any Given Sunday. It sounds like a good choice. Number 1. Or Planet of the Apes. Okay. Which one is it? Oh, get your dollars up. The answer is number 1. Yeah. Get them up. There you go. Craig, now I'm going to turn my focus right to Craig. Here we go. Sela High School of 85. Okay, he was quarterback for PLU, Pacific Lutheran. His coach was Curly Lambeau, Frosty Westerling, Weeb Eubank, or Bum Phillips. Okay. Here we go. Again, I think probably get those dollar bills up. The answer is, I played for Frosty. Yeah. Are you, Craig, are you in any of those photos? Are you one of those guys in the back? Not that one. All right. Craig was inducted to the PLU Athletic Hall of Fame in 1995, along with his wife, Karen, who is an All-American ping pong champion, soccer player, softball player, or darts champion. The answer is their daughter, also a soccer star. And since I couldn't find a picture of Karen, your daughter's up there. There we go. I wouldn't do that to you, Rick. I'd come up with something far different than that. In a recent issue of The Tutor, it was mentioned that Jake and Craig had a father-son trivia fact that today, anyway, will keep you from losing $1. Were they the best father-son duo to climb Mount Everest? The first one. First, both drafted in the same round of the NFL draft 26 years apart. They share an intense love of Legos. Or the first father and son to both play for the Cowboys. Which one is it? Number 4 is the answer. For the Cowboys, look at that. Jake, back in the day, both of them right there. All right. Thank you very much for having the Kupps come today. And I tell you, in my discovery phase for this presentation, I learned that they are one of the very few 3-generation NFL families. Jake told me before, one of 5 in the entire nation. That is really cool. Thank you for being Yakima Rotary today. Thanks, everybody.
Well, Jake and Craig, I just want to say thank you for raising a lot of money for us. That was great, entertaining. Thank you, Sheriff Udell, for keeping your guns in your holster. Didn't have to bring them out. You raised a lot of money anyway. Thank you. All right. We are ready for Bruce Bacon, who is going to be introducing our speakers as if they haven't already been introduced to some degree. But here you go. Take it over.
Thanks a lot, President Rick, Downtown Rotary, and guests. It's my pleasure to introduce Jake and Craig Kupp. Jake grew up in Sunnyside, Washington, graduating from Sunnyside High School in 1959. He earned his football scholarship for the University of Washington, playing tackle and tight end for 4 years. In 1964, he was drafted in the 9th round by the Dallas Cowboys. He went on to play 12 years in the NFL for the Cowboys, Redskins, Falcons, and Saints, most notably 9 years with the New Orleans Saints, where he was team captain, played in the 1970 Pro Bowl, and he was named to the Saints Hall of Fame and later named to the 50-year All-New Orleans Saints team. After football, Jake led several Yakima businesses, including Trail Wagons, Knoll Foods, and Quest International. Jake remains active in his local church, Grace of Christ, as well as helping out with many community ministries. He also has been a true friend to my dad, Frank. The best part of Jake's Sunnyside experience was meeting his wife of 60 years, Carla, during his senior year. They raised 3 sons, Randy, Craig, and Kyle. Craig Kupp grew up in Sela, graduating in the class of 1985. Following high school, Craig quarterbacked PLU's football team. Upon graduating from PLU, Craig was drafted by the New York Giants in the 5th round and went on to play for the Arizona Cardinals and Dallas Cowboys. Jake and Craig are the first father-son combo to play for the Cowboys. Craig is currently the Northwest United States Regional Sales Manager for Quick Lock in Yakima. Craig met his wife, Karen, while at PLU, and they have 4 fantastic children, Cooper, Kettner, Kobe, and Katrina. Please give them a warm Rotary welcome to my friends, Jake and Craig Kupp.
All right, is this on? All right, hey, well, good. Hey, well, thank you so much for having us here. And we'll pop up there in just a second. Before we get going, so we're going to talk about family, about faith, and a lot about football. So we thought, what better way to start this thing with a little bit of football trivia. So Well, I got a couple shirts here. I got the Cooper Kupp long sleever, and we got the king size Snicker bar. So this is a big deal. So if you don't like the shirt, everybody likes Snickers. So here we go. First trivia question. In 1970, a New Orleans Saints kicker kicked the longest field goal in NFL history. It was 63 yards. Who kicked it? First, just yell it out. Tom Dempsey. Was that the answer right there? All right. Yeah, right here in the suit here. Raise your hand here. All right, next question here. Okay, so a lot of people knew Tom Dempsey. We're going to test you now. Who's the holder? What's that? George Blanda. Good guess. Anybody? Okay. All right. We'll skip down. Joe Scarpetti was his name. So, all right. Let's see. All right. Here's an easy one. Seahawk trivia. Everybody loves Seahawks. Yell it out again. First person to yell it out gets a prize. Where did Geno Smith go to college? West Virginia. Very good. All right. Okay, we're going to stay with Seahawks. We're going to stay with colleges. Again, yell it out. What college did Steve Largent go to? Tulsa. Who said it? It was somebody back here. Okay, Dad, you got that? No, I didn't see. Here, right back here. All right, we'll change it up a little bit now. Kit Kat. Everybody loves a Kit Kat. So, shirt and a Kit Kat. Off the top of my head here. Well, it's a Cooper Kupp shirt. We'll have a Cooper Kupp trivia. Again, yell it out. What round did he go in the draft? Third. Who said third? Oh, two. All right, you got to designate somebody. Designate somebody for the prize. There you go. Yeah. All right. All right. So we're gonna talk to you again about family, faith, football, and so we're gonna show a lot of slides, a lot of pictures, and we're just gonna kind of share a little bit about our family. I hope that doesn't bore you to tears. So here we go.
Well, as Craig said, we're talking about faith, family, and football. And we've got to start with faith. Faith is the first thing that we want to share with you. That's really where the identity of our family kind of comes in. We believe very truly that God created each one of us very uniquely, and He has a plan for our lives. In fact, He says, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future." Well, I experienced this firsthand. When I was in the 5th grade back in Sunnyside, Washington in 1952, I started dreaming about becoming a professional athlete. Now, here's the strange thing about it. In Sunnyside back then, we didn't have any little league sports teams. We didn't have TV, so we didn't have a chance to watch sports on TV. And we had a radio, but we listened to cowboy shows and Buster Brown. So how I developed this passion, I feel like it had to come from the Lord. And I'm just kind of wondering, Craig, how did you kind of find your way into becoming an athlete?
Here's a picture of my dad playing in Tulane Stadium back in the early 70s. One of my fondest childhood memories is going to Tulane Stadium one of these weekends. I think they were playing the Rams. And my mom was out of town, and so my friend took me to the game. So I sat with my friend's family. After the game, the plan was that I was going to meet my dad down at as he walked off the field, and I would walk into the locker room with him. And the locker room in Tulane Stadium, old Tulane Stadium, was off. Wasn't inside the stadium. It was outside the stadium. So there was a corded area off that they would walk to the locker room. So sure enough, the game gets over. I meet my dad down there, and I held his hand coming off the field with all the players, all the Saints players coming off of the field. And I just remember the impact that had on me. And I remember thinking, this is what I want to do. When I get older, when I get to be a grown-up, I want to be a professional football player.
So, excuse wow, it's tough getting old. What we'd like to talk about now a little bit is family. We really felt blessed as a family that we came from a family that had a strong work ethic. In this picture right here, that's my dad in the lower, I guess, left-hand corner. And his dad was an immigrant from Europe. He came over when he was 16 years old, and he arrived at Ellis Island, and he worked his way to Nebraska. When he was 16, he got a job there on a farm. He earned enough money then to put a down payment on a farm, and then he and my dad worked that farm, and it was very successful. It was successful because of hard work. The man sitting next to him is my father-in-law, Carl Marion. Carl's father abandoned their family when he was 14 years old, and he became the breadwinner along with his mother for their family of 5. So that's kind of where this work ethic kind of came from.
Of course, that passed down to me, a big influence to me, and I just was very lucky to have a godly father. And I'm just, one of the biggest blessings of my life is to have Jake as my father. The gentleman on your far left over there is my father-in-law, is Tom Gilmer. He's a longtime coach over in the Tacoma area, football coach, and again, loving Christian man, very competitive man, and so I fit right in with their family. We can't talk about the guys without talking about the moms. So here's a picture of my mom. She's in her happy place here. She's got the grandkids all around her. That's where she likes to live. And so she's the matriarch of our family, and just great at gathering us together for birthdays and celebrating one another. My mom's very nurturing. This is my wife, Karen. So Karen has a nurturing side to her, but she's a fighter. She's competitive. She's run marathons. It's kind of a joke in our family. So we would meet people, and when my kids started having success in athletics, and we would meet somebody, and they would. The big joke was, "Oh, they must get that from their mother." The athletic accomplishment, the athletic success, those kind of things. And everybody would laugh, but if he said it in front of us two, we weren't laughing. She's done the Boston Marathon, several different races. She teaches fitness classes in town, has her own business, Dare to Move Fitness, and here's a picture of the Yakima Canyon Marathon, finishing with our daughter, Katrina. And you can't talk about the ladies without talking about Anna, Cooper's wife. Anna and Kupp got married after their sophomore year at Eastern Washington University, and she has just been such a huge support to Cooper. They're really a partner. They're a partnership and support one another, and it's a joy to see their relationship and their family.
When you talk about building a strong family, work ethic is really important, but love is really the center of a real family. And that is where you really care for one another, you hang together, you invest in one another. This is a picture that I just love. It's myself with my 4 of my grandkids reading the book. You can't see the book here, but it's The Little Blue Engine That Could. The next picture is myself and my 3 boys. And then this is a picture that I really enjoyed. I hurried home from work one day and met up with Cooper, and the 2 of us went to a baseball game here in Yakima. And here's another picture of Kupp with the guys playing golf. This is the 17th hole out at Apple Tree, and you can see the intensity on Kupp's face right there. And again, here's another picture of Cooper and his brothers and sisters and Karen. And this is a family picture that we took over at Camino at Frank and Suzanne Bacon's place, where our family spent a week of just being together and really enjoying each other. We thought it was really kind of neat that the cross was the center of our family there. And again, this is a game where Kettner played a game and our family all came together, and this is after the game.
We thought it was important, Karen and I, as we were raising our kids, we thought it was important to allow our kids to pursue their dreams, to try and find what they're passionate about, and then to just go after it as best they could with all their hearts. And so I'll talk a little bit about each one of my kids. This is Katrina as a little soccer player, kind of following in her mom's footsteps, and just loves competing. And now she's at Eastern Washington University competing on the soccer team there. She's a sophomore. Kobe is on the left there, and it took him a little while to find, and like most of us, it took him a little while to find his passion, what he was passionate about. Started with athletics, then he was going to go the military route and was going to join the ROTC program at Eastern, and then as he and his then girlfriend, now wife, started talking about their family dynamics and being able to maybe have a little more control of where they lived, the plan changed for them. So Kobe's now a computer programmer over at Munson Fruit, and so again, God's got a way of finding your path. My dad talked about that He's got a plan for each one of us, and so sometimes it takes a little while to find that. This is Kettner. This is Kettner's first tackle as a freshman, true freshman at Eastern, played the University of Oregon. That's Vernon Adams. I'm not sure if you guys remember him, but he started at Eastern and transferred over to Oregon. It's kind of a cool picture. After his football career at Eastern, Kettner had a tryout with the Rams, just was with them at training camp, but was able to be coached by Sean McVay, and again fueled his passion to become a coach. And so that's him at the bottom there, and so he's a linebackers coach at Pacific Lutheran right now. He's got dreams of coaching in the NFL, so that's a chapter that's still to be written, and this is him and his wife and their two daughters, and his wife is just a lovely lady that's allowing him to pursue this coaching dream. It's a rough life. You move around a lot. It can be unstable at times, and she's allowing him to pursue his dream, which is just a beautiful thing. So you say you want to play football. We have a little bit of a problem here with this because this was a video. I'll just describe it, and then we'll go on to the next one. So this was a video of Cooper running a route. Everybody loves the glamour of football. Sometimes you get hit, though, and he was mic'd up during this play, and there was a pretty big explosion at the end of this play here. So I'm sorry that we can't do it, but we'll show another big hit.
Not have been a more fitting ending with the way that his season has gone, winning the Triple Crown. He's double teamed off the line of scrimmage.
There were 2 fouls on this play, one by each team. Holding offense number 79, dead ball, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, defense number 24. By rule, those fouls offset. Will repeat first down.
Wow. You could see the play.
That was the bad thing about that. The play didn't even count. There was offsetting penalties, and he took the shot, tried to get back up. He did get back up, but football can be brutal at times.
So, you want to play football? Well, here's Craig and Kupp and myself. This is down in the field in Husky Stadium. This was right before Kupp and the Eagles played the Huskies. Kupp's team didn't win, but they gave the Huskies a real good run for their money. In my career at the University of Washington, there were times when I was playing end. In my 4 years there, I caught 2 passes. In this game, Cooper caught 3 touchdown passes. In my football career, again, it kind of started when I was in the 5th grade, when I started dreaming about what it would be like, to be an athlete. And this is my high school senior picture playing in Sunnyside. And that's a leather helmet, if you recognize it, no face mask. And, times were a little bit different back then than they are today. In fact, I was selected to play in the East-West All-Star football game, and I was the only football player that reported there with a leather helmet, no face mask, and high-top foot cleats. After that, I went to the University of Washington, played for Jim Owens. After that, I was drafted by the Dallas Cowboys, and again had a chance to play for Tom Landry, as we noted earlier. He had a big influence on my Christian life. From there, I was traded to the Washington Redskins, played for Otto Graham, a great, fantastic player in his day. Not so good a coach, but a fantastic player. From there, I went to the New Orleans Saints, played for Tom Fears. Tom Fears was an outstanding wide receiver for the LA Rams, and Cooper has shattered every one of his records that lasted for years and years. I think the highlight for me with the Saints, again, was the Dempsey field goal, the 63-yard field goal. Picture this. We were behind 16-14 with 3 seconds left in the game. We have the ball on the 44-yard line on our side of the field, and we lined up for the field goal, and the Detroit Lions were just laughing at us. Who would ever try? Back then, most kickers were straight-on kickers, so you didn't have 60-yard field goals. And we made that, and what a celebration we had. The other highlight I think I remember most from my time in New Orleans was being Archie Manning's roommate during training camp. We were together and just had some fantastic stories going back and forth as we went through those years.
We mentioned, it was mentioned earlier that my dad was elected to the New Orleans Saints Hall of Fame. This is back in 1992 at the Hall of Fame ceremony, and just a great honor to be able to share that with him. And on the guy on the right is my youngest brother, Kyle, who passed away from brain cancer. It was great that we could all be there together, celebrate my dad. My football career is a little bit different than my dad's, a little briefer, I would say. I did, as we mentioned, I played at Pacific Lutheran University and played under Frosty Westering, a huge gift to play under Frosty. I was drafted after PLU by the New York Giants. This was in the New York paper, kind of a welcome to New York moment for me. If you see the very bottom, so Rodney Hampton is from Georgia. He's on the right there. He was the first-round draft pick. I was the fifth-round draft pick. And it says, Giants welcome the prospect and the suspect. So I'll leave it up to you who was who there. So, and again, this I just feel like this kind of sums up my pro career here. So this is pregame warm-ups with the Dallas Cowboys. Very cool to have the Dallas Cowboy star on your helmet and to be a part of that. But really the best thing about this whole picture is Michael Irvin is walking by in the background there. So really most of you guys probably were interested in just Cooper's journey. So we'll stop talking about our stuff and just real briefly go through Coop stuff. So Coop obviously grew up here in Yakima, played grid kids for the 49er program. Dion Wright on the right, Chris Chapman on the left, just buddies growing up. They went on and played grid kids and AAU basketball together, and then they won a state championship in basketball together at Davis. Just some pictures of Davis competing at a high level in high school, and what a thrill for a dad. I'm sure a lot of you guys have experienced that with your kids playing sports, and we're no different. This is his senior year. Pretty skinny. Look at his arms. It's pretty skinny, and that's after lots and lots and lots of work. Doesn't really look like a Division I athlete there, I would say, because he's skinny, and so that kind of affected some of his recruiting, and we'll talk a little bit more about that. This is Nikel Azat. who's now the head coach at Eisenhower, basketball coach at Eisenhower. See how his number's kind of tucked into his shirt? I've got a picture. I couldn't find it. I got a picture of Cooper with his, as a sophomore, with his number tucked into his shirt. And so it was a long, long process of getting his body ready. This is Eli Juarez. This is at the state basketball tournament. Cooper's had lots of great mentors and coaches here in the Yakima community, and we're just very, very thankful for his experience here in Yakima. The Manning camps. My dad talked about rooming with Archie Manning with the Saints. Through that connection, my kids were able to experience the Manning camps. It's a big camp that's held down in Thibodaux, Louisiana. They invite all of the major college quarterbacks and that are counselors for the week for kids. And then those quarterbacks also put on different kind of practices and demonstrations, and they invite the whole community there. It's really a cool camp. And so that was a picture of Archie, and I'll go back. Oops. What happened here? Okay. Yeah. So you've got Peyton and Archie, and then Eli, and then their Cooper is on the far right. My Kettner wore his Cookie Monster shirt the year previous to this, so that was kind of embarrassing. But it was kind of cool because Peyton took Cooper aside, and during the demonstrations, Cooper was able to be his receiver, and Peyton wanted Cooper to be his receiver and to run routes, and that was quite an honor. This is Cooper's senior year. This is walking off the field. It's his very last game as a senior. No scholarship offers. Walking off the field. And so, again, God's got a plan. It was tough. It was disappointing. This was a very disappointing moment for him in his life. He's walking off the field. He's got this dream of playing college and professional football, and he doesn't even have a college scholarship. But again, God's got great plans. And his plan was, instead of going to Stanford, University of Washington, or USC, which is what Cooper had in his mind, God's plan was to meet up with Bo Baldwin at Eastern Washington University, who just had a tremendous offense. This is Junior Adams, who was the receiver coach at the time. He's now the receiver coach at the University of Oregon. And Coop went on to have just quite a career. My mom took this picture. This is his first college reception. And went on to be a 4-time first-team All-American. A lot of people, a nice goal would be to start for 4 years. And he was a 4-year first-team All-American, which is kind of unheard of. He loves to be able to compete with his buddies, with his brothers. And then my dad mentioned earlier about the games that he had against the Pac-12 opponents, the Huskies, Oregon State, Oregon, and WSU. That's Buda Baker there that he's catching a touchdown on there. This is against WSU. That was a huge third down catch that was a touchdown winning drive. And then just a picture of celebrating, lots of times to celebrate after games, and some of the best memories of our life. This is the NFL draft. So instead of going to New York or having a news crew at our house or at a house to document everything, Coop and Anna had everybody, the family, come to a house in California. And this is him getting a call from Les Snead from the Rams saying that he'd just been drafted in the 3rd round. It's pretty tough. It's an interesting picture. Again, disappointment. About an hour, 45 minutes before this picture was taken, the Pittsburgh Steelers were up. It was the late 2nd round. We thought Cooper might go in the 1st round. Now it's the late in the 2nd round, and we knew that Pittsburgh was interested in Cooper. He had thrown with Ben Roethlisberger a couple times, and Ben really liked him. So we're thinking Pittsburgh. It's Pittsburgh. It's going to be Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh comes up, Juju Smith-Schuster. And the air just went out of the room. They took Juju. How could they take Juju? And so we're disappointed. But the plan, God's got a better plan. he had a plan all along to match up with Sean McVay. And again, the story goes that the things that they've been able to do. So here's just to scroll through these real quickly of just some pictures, again, competing, doing what he loves to do. We got to get the Seahawks in there. We got a couple of those. And then we'll just go through this real quick. So I want you to look at number 24, up at the top of the screen there. And this will go several times. So 24, so you've got the tight end curling, you've got Kupp coming behind him, and number 24 is responsible for that space that's behind where Cooper's going. And so you see his reaction, and why is he jumping this curl route so quickly and allowing that space behind him? So here's the other view. This is the end zone view. And I want you to look at Matthew Stafford's head of what he's looking at. So the tight end is to the left here. That's pretty cool, isn't it? And that's not in the backyard. That's in the Super Bowl. You got 100 million people watching that, and those guys are able to pull something like that off just to be in the moment and just to do what they need to do to be successful. That continued that drive that led to the game-winning touchdown there. Kupp and his wife Anna and kids being able to celebrate on the field with confetti. And then just a few experiences, and then we'll wrap it up here. So this is about 3-4 years ago. The Saints invited my dad for the coin flip before the Saints-Rams game. And then Cooper he's a captain now, but wasn't a captain here, but he was an honorary captain and was able to do the pregame coin flip. This is a picture the night after the Super Bowl. And I just say it's just a surreal moment. You know, you're sitting there with your son talking about the game and the MVP, Super Bowl MVP trophy sitting on the table. It's just it's just a crazy time in our lives and something that we'll always remember. This is a cool picture. This is Kellen Moore from Prosser. And so Valley Greats meeting in Dallas. This is a game at Dallas. Kupp won the Jerry Rice Award as a freshman at Eastern Washington University, and we got to meet Jerry and try on the Super Bowl ring, and that was pretty cool. And to show that one, that's just being able to rub shoulders with other well-known guys. This is a cool picture of Kupp and Kettner. It's Cooper's last college game. They lost on the last second, on the very last play of the game. A guy actually trapped a ball against Kettner's back in the end zone as they fell down and knocked them out of the semifinal game. If they would have won that game, they would have gone to the national championship game. So it was a tough moment, but I just love that picture. And then this picture is just more family time with football.
Well, that about concludes it. We want to end with this. We started with faith, and we'd like to end with faith. As you know, it takes real passion, hard work, focus, and time to be good at anything. To give you an example, Cooper, during the season, will go in at 6 o'clock in the morning, get back home at 6:30 at night, 7 o'clock. He'll have dinner, and then he'll put the kids to bed, and then he'll go to bed. It's a real routine. It's really hard work. And so one of the questions is how do you find balance in your life? How do you balance your faith, your family, your career? How do you do all of those things? A lot of people say, well, I'm going to spend X number of hours here, X number of hours here, X number of hours here. But it doesn't work. It never works out. And so, again, we turn to our faith as a family to find out, how do you deal with that? And so we listen to what Jesus has to say, and what he says is seek first his kingdom. We're missing something. It says, seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you. We know as families, we fall short very often. We just don't give our families or our career or whatever the time that it really deserves. But we've found out that when you really do put God first, He does provide for us. For instance, when you feel and experience His love and the way that He cares for you, and then you share that with your family, it really brings your family together. And the same thing in your job, in your work, when you really care for others and you love others like God loves you, it can really change a work atmosphere. And so we just want to leave you with that thought as you're going out, that putting God first is probably one of the most important things we can do in our lives. Well, I want to thank you. We've shared our stories about faith, family, and football, and it's time for us to wrap this up. And so we just want to thank you for taking the time to listen to our story. And again, God bless you. Thank you.
Thank you, Jake and Craig. Are you going to hang around a little bit afterwards? There might be some questions people in our audience here might like to ask you and spend a little bit more time with you. So I have to say, quite an amazing family experience. It's pretty incredible. For our speakers at Rotary meetings, we donate to the Rotary International Polio Plus campaign fund to help eradicate polio throughout the world and even the United States. So thank you for participating with that. Next week, Tom Galkey, who is a Rotary member here, is going to talk about National Disabilities Month here at the Convention Center. After that, James Donaldson, former Sonic, Understanding Mental Health Awareness and Suicide Prevention, also here at the Convention Center. And Sharon Miracle will be speaking about Yakima Valley Community Foundation, probably telling us all about it, how it works, how it's funded, what it does. Look forward to that. That'll be here at the Convention Center as well. So I think we had a great program today. Great crowd. Give yourself a hand, and we'll see you next week.